Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video, and I am here over on Aberration to show you the new changes with the Stegosaurus. Now, it's taken me a little bit of time to kind of like look at all the stuff, figure out how they can be just first off, they're just insane. The new Stego changes make it so that you essentially have 3 dinos in one, which is crazy. So you've obviously I've got 3 different tester modes here. We've got one we're going to use as hardened plate, one is heavy plate, and then one is sharpened plate. The hardened plate allows you to have a damage reduction and gets a huge amount of wood. The heavy plate applies a slow when you're attacking somebody, and it gets a ton of thatch. And then the sharpened plate mode is it basically goes through armor, and it gets a huge amount of berries, which is crazy. Which is a really awesome thing. Not only that, but their tail whip attack also immobilizes small dinos, so that way you can actually kind of keep them in the same spot, which is crazy. So this is the hardened plate mode. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to jack, this is a 150 wild tame that I force tame, just so you know. We're just going to crank up its stats, and I'm going to then heal it back up, obviously. But I wanted to show you. So this one is only getting levels from me inside, whoop, just like this, inside of health. Now, with this health mode, basically I'm going to go ahead and test it with turrets right here, just to show you a comparison. And then I'll also bring another one in there so you can see how much more damage reduction this actually has versus something. Alright, so there's the heavy. We're going to go get nice and close to it. And I'm in GCM, so it's not going to do damage. Oh well. Let's go ahead and get out of GCM first. And then whistle passive. So, and then, actually I'm just going to level these first. So we're going to go ahead and level both of these with melee exclusively, and that's because these guys are basically going to be our attacking stegos, and I just want to see how much damage they can do. Let's do weight. Now that we've got 1,000 melee damage, that seems like enough on this guy, because this one's going to be our heavy plate mode, which allows you to carry, which is kind of cool. So he's got that heavy plate mode that's going to give us a bunch of thatch, which is kind of fun. Alright, so let's see if we can find a dodo. There's one. And we'll see if we can get our little armor spear on it. Nope, it just insta-hit it. But oh well. You can see this applies as slow anyways, so we'll go ahead and show you that. So see how that Paraceratherium is just absolutely obliterated? Yeah, that's crazy. Come on now. Thank you. Boom, gone. So, that Paracera got shredded because it can't go anywhere, and that slow is huge. It looks like it takes about 90% of their overall speed, which is crazy. That's a huge amount of speed reduction, especially considering that, for the most part, these things are slow anyway, so if you can hit something with that slow, that is huge. So, here is the heavy plate mode, which doesn't take a damage reduction, and you can see there's that heavy. And that heavy does 185 damage a shot. Now let's go ahead and test it against the hardened plate mode. 92. So it cuts the damage in half. So and this is a base saddle, nothing special about it. So basically you are cutting damage taken in half, which is pretty nice, obviously. That's something that's not bad at all, and that's from a heavy, so keep that in mind. This is something that, a heavy is going to do, depending on where it shoots you, heavily reduced damage. To the head, it's going to do a bunch more, but right there you can see it, 20 overall damage from an auto. Now let's go ahead and test a tech out here. So it looks like, here's the really nice thing. So with a Stego, with a tech turret, you're no longer going to get shot off because this defends you from being shot off, so you're going to be able to launch these Stegos into people's bases, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. Now, they will take increased damage to the head, but it looks like for the most part, they don't take pretty big damage at all, so you could pretty easily soak anyone's base. Alright, so that is not too shabby. So that's give or take a half reduction in damage. We'll take that. That's not too bad. Now, this guy right here is our hardened plate mode. Or our heavy plate mode, sorry, so he applies the slow and gets a ton of thatch. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how much thatch this guy actually gets. We're going to go ahead and go back into GCM mode so I can just destroy these turrets. And then, yeah, we don't need to worry about that. Alright, so let's go ahead and get on this bad boy, and we're going to go ahead and show you the comparison. So the heavy plate mode, this guy's going to allow us to get a bunch of thatch. I'll show you with one swing. Obviously this one has a huge increase in his ability to get thatch. So we'll go ahead and do this with hardened plate mode. Oh, and I forgot to mention this. As long as you're in this mode, you can actually lock onto targets and hit them with your like special ability. Alright, so there's 133 thatch. This is on a regular, no boosted server, one time, so it's basically official rates. So you're getting a bunch of thatch per tree. Now let's go ahead and switch it up. Sharpened plate mode is supposed to give us a huge amount of berries, and it does. One swing from this guy. Obviously, if you were to go over onto Ragnarok, you'd probably get a ton from the berry fields. But, I mean, that's not a bad swing right there. You're getting basically 1,000 berries a swing. You cannot complain about that, if not more than that. And it looks like you're getting a bunch of mushrooms too, which is pretty nice. So that's a pretty good overall increase in the amount of berries he's able to get. Now you can go ahead and switch him into hardened plate mode, and this is where he's going to be able to gather wood. So let's see how good he is at that. Okay, I see you. 222 fungal wood per tree on 1x, 237 per tree. This is now a monster. So basically you can see it right there. I'm gathering, well, from 3 trees, I was able to gather a very solid amount of fungal wood. Now, if you were to bring this guy into the swamp or into an area where there's a lot more wood, you're going to get a crazy amount of resources. So the Stego is just an OP monster now, basically allowing him to just, I don't even know how to describe it any better. He's just an absolute monster. 3 different dinosaurs have basically been placed into this one with that ability to take damage reduction, a slow, so he can be an attacking dinosaur. Not only that, but you have an armor penetration, so you can use that sharpened plate mode that we were just in. I'll show you that one. This guy right here. Sharpened plating allows you to have an armor penetration, so you can do true damage to somebody or true damage to a tame. That's insane. This dino is essentially now probably one of the most useful in the game. Now the only negative thing about the Stego now is the negative side of it's slow still. Now it's still not too bad because you can pick it up with a large amount of tames, but I mean it's still pretty nice. Alright, so there's the hardened plate, here is the heavy plate, and we'll apply that slow to him. Look how slow he is. That's like a 90% reduction. That's insane. Oh my goodness. So anyways, the Stego is now an absolute monster with these 3 modes. The ability to gather a ton of raw resources. The less dinos you can have, the better off you are on an official server, so you don't have to have a whole bunch of dinos out, especially if you're just focused on breeding one series. And I know some people already have some just absolutely bonkers leveled Stegos. So these things are going to be crazy, crazy powerful. And now that you can use them to harvest and gather things too, the Stego is a monster. So anyways, if there's anything you'd like to see at all from this guy, let me know. But the Stego is something that is going to be, in my opinion, very, very overpowered as people figure them more and more out. All right, teach.